me back up. I'm gonna back up. Hold on. Yo, hey. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Testing. Bismillah. I think that's good. Haytham went to the other room. Can we start? Bismillah. Inshallah, Yusuf holding it down. Inshallah. We're good? Okay. You too good? Okay. All right. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Allahumma inna nas'aluka hubbak wa hubba man yuhibbuk wa hubba amalin yuqarribuna ila hubbik ya arhamar rahimin. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His love. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the love of those actions that will gain His love. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the love of the people that He loves. There's still a little bit of light. It's a little bit. Subhanallah, Surah Kahf has been a journey, subhanallah, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refocusing us on the akhirah. In our last session, it was really heavy because in our last session, there was this vivid moment where Allah took us through the akhirah, the hereafter. And the idea of that is that the more you stay connected to this idea that there's a hereafter, there's a day of judgment, I'll stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you're able to shift your actions, the more you're able to make your actions in line with that which pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so last week, it was a really, really heavy verses that really walked us through the day of judgment. And it's an exercise that we have to do regularly. Because the more you envision the akhirah, the more you lock into the akhirah, the more, again, you're able to look at the dunya, the world, from a different perspective. From a perspective that the Prophet ﷺ wanted us to have. Today's verses completely shift the tone. But they have a deep connection to the previous verses. In the last verses, maybe like 3 sessions ago, Allah gave us this story about 2 men. For those who weren't there, I'm going to retell the story really briefly. So Allah told this story about these 2 brothers. And one of them was blessed with immense wealth. Specifically, the Quran says he had 2 gardens that were just flourishing. And the other had nothing. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was telling us how they were interacting with one another. And the one who was ahead, air quotes, ahead, the one who was ahead, blessed with so much wealth, his businesses were flourishing, everything was good, family was great. He started to get this feeling of arrogance above the other one. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that showed us that the other brother, He said to him, He's like, yo, chill, you need to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to be connected to Allah through all of these blessings. And he said to him, like, you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Like tomorrow you're up here, you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Tomorrow you may be down here. And the Quran tells us that that's exactly what happened. Like times change, situations change, business is flourishing. Where's your mind at? Where's your heart at when the business is flourishing? Because wherever your heart is and mind is when the business is flourishing, that's where it's going to be, or a darker place when the business isn't flourishing. And so if your heart is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all of that time, then the rise and fall won't affect you because you stay anchored to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The tides go up, tides go down, doesn't matter. Your anchor is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now today's verses tap into a story that almost every Muslim knows. And it's a beautiful story because there's a deep lesson in it. In verse number 50, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. And I'm going to stop there. That's not the end of the verse, but I'm going to stop there. In verse number 50, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about this moment, the fall of Iblis. And because there's like everyone's from a different educational background, I want to just tell the story of it so everyone understands. Iblis was a chosen servant of God. Iblis, who we call now Shaitan, the devil, Satan. Shaitan, his name was Iblis. And Iblis was this chosen servant of God that had reached a high rank in ibadah, worship. And his rank was so high that Allah had placed Iblis above the malaika. In fact, the narrations of Ibn Kathir says he was in charge of groups of malaika, meaning that's where his status had got him to. Now, how did he get that status? He got that status through worship. So he got this high rank. Time goes on, and it comes time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to create Adam, our father, Adam. And the Quran tells us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told the angels that I'm going to create this human being. And when I create Adam, and I blow my soul into him, and I fill him with life, at that time I want everyone to bow down to Adam. I want everyone to bow down to Adam. And in this moment, the Quran tells us, in this verse here, with قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ. And remember that moment when we told the malaika, all of the angels, bow down to Adam. Adam was Allah's creation. He created him with his own hands. He's a special creation of God. But in that moment, Iblis was tested. He was tested. And in that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَسَجَدُوا. All of the angels obeyed the orders of God. They all bowed down into sajda. Illa Iblis. Except Iblis. He refused to do this sajda. Other verses tell us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said to him, قَالَ مَا مَنَعَكَ أَن تَسْجُدَ لِمَا خَلَقْتَ بِيَدَيْ. Allah says to Adam, Adam, what's up? Like, what stopped you from doing what I told you to do? He says, the verse actually says, what stopped you from doing sajda to that which I created with my own hands? إِذْ أَمَرْتُكَ. When I ordered you to do this. Look what he says. He says, قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ. He says, you don't understand. He's speaking to Allah. أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ. He goes, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. خَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. You created him from dirt. خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ. And you created me from fire. They say he's the first racist because he's like, you know what I mean? You know, like he basically said, you know where I'm from. And before I go into this lesson, as we get over the 4th of July holiday, I think there's a level of nationalism that has such a racist aspect to it. Like, if you really look at what it is, there's a level of this, we're better than everyone else. Why? Just because we're who we are, red, white, and blue. We're the best, right? Regardless of what our political policy, global policy is, economic. You ain't even got healthcare, yo. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But, well, we're better. We're better than everybody. We're better than everybody. And so, subhanAllah, just on a tangent, I think it's so important for us to realize that Shaitan was the first racist. And a small other tangent, how many people have I met that the only reason their parents won't let them marry someone is because they're from a different race or even a different tribe? Same race, different tribe. Same race. I'm like, why y'all racist to each other? Y'all from the same, like Ethiopia, Somalia. Y'all right there, bruh. Like, for real? Really? Ibn Uthaymin, he says if your parents say you can't marry someone, the least they have to do is give a reason from the Sharia why. They have to at least say, because of this reason from the Sharia. And most of them just be like, cause I said so. Cause his mom don't, you know what I mean? Subhanallah. And I just bring that up because we mask racism with culture, right? We mask racism with culture. Iblis is the first racist. And what does he say? He says he's created from dirt. I'm created from fire. And fire has a tendency to rise up. And dirt, it falls down. You put it in water, it falls down. Fire, by natural, you light it, it goes up. He goes, I'm a noble gas. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, look at me on the periodic table. No, for real, like legit. Look at where I'm at on the periodic table. Look where he's at. Now, here's the thing. Here's what's crazy. From this, we learn something. This story comes in the first 5 pages of the Quran. And the scholars, they say that this story highlights the danger of a spiritual disease. The spiritual disease in Arabic is called takabbur. Takabbur. And I'm going to use that word a lot tonight. And we typically translate it how? How do we translate takabbur? Arrogance. Now, here's something. You know, I think a lot of converts, when they come to these sessions and you sit in Islamic gatherings, you hear this guy can speak Arabic, but he speaks English, but he keeps dropping these Arabic terms. And you're like, bro, can you just stay on one language, bro? Like, I can't hang. What you don't understand is there's so much lost in the translation. So I want to talk about this word takabbur, which we translate as arrogance, because I think most of us who grew up as Muslims, we misunderstood what this concept means. The scholars, they say that the root of all diseases of the heart is takabbur, arrogance. There's a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, if you have, it's a heavy hadith, hear me out. If you have, and can we close that? Can y'all close that door for me real quick? If you have an atom's weight of arrogance in your heart, you can't enter the gates of Jannah. An atom's weight of arrogance. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam over and over emphasized, yo, you cannot be an arrogant person. And here's the part that's misunderstood by most of us who grew up hearing this. The first sin committed was one of arrogance and jealousy. Arrogance, they say, is what caused the jealousy, though, because he thought he was so big. Time out for a moment. Shaitan has issues because he doesn't realize he's not the main character, man. The arrogance comes because you think this is all about you. You think this is all about you. This has nothing to do with you. And what Shaitan didn't realize in that moment is that when you humble yourself, he would have stayed at his position. Not only that, he would have went higher. But because he felt that this person's blessing was a direct attack on his blessings, now the arrogance kicked in. Why would I bow down to this person? I'm not going to bow down to this person. Like, I'm better than him. Allah said, I'm not even talking about better here. I told you what to do. Just do what I said do. All it comes down to is you obey me. And something I want to talk about later is a concept of triangulation. Every relationship with another human being has the potential for you to have all types of spiritual diseases between you and them. Arrogance, jealousy, anger. But if you put Allah in the equation, immediately all of those dissipate. Immediately. So what am I trying to say? There's someone who I'm competing with at work, or I have a cousin or whatever. When it's just me and that cousin interacting, the arrogance kicks in, the jealousy kicks in. The moment I connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of a sudden, my relationship with this person is no longer a dyad. It's no longer me and them. It's a triad. It's my relationship with them has a direct impact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so I often say, if someone has wronged you, forgive them for your relationship with God, not for your relationship with them. Your forgiving them has nothing to do with them, Habibi. Your forgiving them has everything to do with your relationship with God. So imagine every relationship that you had, if you were to look at it not through the lens of my relationship with you, but rather, how does this affect me with Allah? And what happened is, in the life of Abu Bakr, there was a moment where someone accused his daughter Aisha of zina. And the one who accused was his own nephew, who he was given a monthly stipend to. He found out, yo, you're the one spreading rumors about my daughter? And such vile rumors about her chastity? Yo, I'm cutting off the stipend. Allah revealed a verse. Allah revealed a verse. Atuhibbuna an yaghfirallahu lakum? O Abu Bakr, forget him. Do you want Allah to forgive you? Immediately Abu Bakr goes, Bala. He says, yes, Ya Allah. He goes, Mister, I'm going to double your stipend. I'm going to double your stipend. Was he doubling it because it was about him and him? Nah. He doubled the stipend because that relationship was all about him and Allah. So the mistake of Iblis, number one, is he thought this was about him and Adam. That moment was about him and Allah. And he lost sight of that. And I'm telling you, every relationship in your life, if you triangulate that relationship and stop looking at it as one-to-one, completely transform how you interact with that person. Completely transform. So we translate takabbur as arrogance. But the problem is that when you translate, you lose a lot. And it brings in all of the Western understandings of what it means to be humble and what it means to be arrogant. The Prophet ﷺ defined takabbur or arrogance with these words. And I want you to remember this. This is so clutch. Rasulullah ﷺ was asked, what is kibr, ya Rasulullah? He said two things. This is the only thing that kibr is, arrogance. He says, ghamtan nas wa batar al-haq. That's it. Looking down on people and rejecting truth. Rejecting truth. Only two things, nothing else. It's not about being soft. It's not about being soft-spoken. It's not about having a lack of self-confidence. It's none of that. And the reason I say that is this. We've been trained, you gotta be humble, you gotta be humble. You have an Adam's way of arrogance, you can't enter Jannah, you can't enter Jannah, you gotta be humble. What that does is it hits at our self-confidence. I shouldn't speak up right now. Let me lay back, because if I speak up, that means I'm arrogant. It happens all the time in families. Baba's doing something he shouldn't do. Mom's doing something she shouldn't do. And you try to say something like, oh, look at the kibr in you. Look at the arrogance in you. Apne suna, you never heard about the importance of having humility? It's a false understanding of humility. Because I was talking to a friend of mine, and he gave the example of you're sitting in a room and your aunties are backbiting. It happens all the time, right? You're sitting at a family gathering, right? And the aunties are backbiting. For those who don't know, backbiting is to talk about someone when they're not present. It's haram. Islam, you can't do that. In Islam, you cannot talk about someone with something they don't like if they're not present. But you go to the family reunion, you would think it's the sixth pillar of Islam because of how much people backbite. Now, you're young. You go to the khutbahs, you go to the lectures, you know backbiting is haram, and you're like, yo, this is wrong. But you've been taught to be humble for so long, a false understanding of humble. Don't be arrogant. Don't be proud. Who do you think you are? You're younger than us. Rasulullah ﷺ, he told us, arrogance is not to cower back. Arrogance is not to be self-deprecating. Arrogance is not to be soft. But rather, arrogance is one of two things. You look down on people. You look down on people. I'm better, exactly what Iblis did here. I'm better than him. And number two, you reject truth when someone says it. You know it's true, you're like, oh, I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you. This is important. The reason I say this is arrogance hits us all. And not arrogance of just being soft, arrogance of looking down on people. Exactly what Iblis did to Adam. How does it happen? You walk into a room and you immediately start sizing everybody up. You walk into a khutbah, you walk into a halaqah, you immediately like sizing everybody up. Now you only size them up in the places of your security. You only size them up in the things that you're flawless in. Flawless in. So like, yeah, I mean, like you ripped, you know what I mean? You're like, yo, I hit the weights, man. I'm like, so you walk in and you can't help but be like, yeah, he probably benches 120. You know what I mean? You can't help it. You can't help it. You immediately like sizing everyone up. You know, you walk in, like, Vela hijab, oh, she got that way back, you know what I mean? Yo, immediately start sizing everyone up. Imam Ghazali says this, everyone has their arrogance meaning you're better, in the area that they specialize in. He goes, scholars and leaders, how much influence they have. Oh, he don't got as many followers as me. Look at his Instagram page. Oh, he only got 50,000. Whoa, whatever. Astaghfirullah. Imam Ghazali says there's people who are so focused on external beauty. They walk in the room and they're like, he's not that attractive. They in the room already like, yeah. Brother's got these sharp jaw lines, mashallah. You know what I mean? Yo, whatever it is, it could be wealth. Sometimes you get older now, you ain't got the looks. You know what I mean? You ain't that big, but yo, you got money. You got money. You walk in, you sit in the back. Most of them in the back, right? Most of them in the back, mashallah. And you just like, yeah, my portfolio, though. And you just looking around the room. You're like, my portfolio. Portfolio, yeah. And if you're a humble bragger, you're going to open the app while you're there. You know what I mean? Scroll it. Right? So what he says is arrogance, don't think you're absolved of it. Everyone walks in and immediately starts sizing everyone up that they interact with. And I think this is important to understand because now we got to go somewhere where it's painful. The reason you size everybody up from that is to mask for the insecurities you have for other things. Those insecurities you have for those other things are the reason why you walk in and you're like, yeah, but I'm the rippest one in here. Yeah, but I'm the prettiest one in the room right now. Because the deep-seated insecurities that we have, if we were to just sit with those, they hurt too much. They hurt too much. So what do? I cognitively shift my mind to see everything through the lens of what I'm secure with. Mine is money. Yours is this. Yours is followers. Yours is how you look. Yours is your intelligence. Everyone in this room has something different that they go, I'm better than the people in this room because of this. Here's the deal. We have to understand that arrogance is something that has to be just pushed out of the heart. And what that means is you walk in the room and you're not trying to find that I'm better than anyone else in the room. That's not how I walk in. The scholars used to say, I walk in a room and wallahi, the thought to me is how I could benefit from everybody in the room. I said this before, I'll say it again. Why do converts excel so much? Like the trajectory of the convert after they convert is like, you know what I mean? Crazy, steep. Like short period of time, it's like this. Why? No arrogance. Everyone they see around them, they're like, yo, can you teach me something? They pulled a little kid over, like, yo, you know, Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad? Little dude's like, yeah, I knew that back in the day. like that convert walks in the room like everybody here is better than me. And because of that humility, they immediately, you see them 4 months later, you're like, bro, you're like, sister, what happened? It's because of the lack of arrogance allowed them to see everybody as somebody they could benefit from. They didn't walk in the room trying to be better. They walked in subhanAllah, Imam Sha'rani, he said, man, you'll walk into a khutbah, yo, and you'll be sitting in the audience, sizing the imam up, bro. Like, yeah, I could have said that a little better, though. He didn't land that properly. Like, he should have, like, you know, played that out a little. SubhanAllah, what are you doing? It's coming from a place of insecurity. So what about your insecurities? Your beauty is temporal. Your money ain't yours. It's going to get split up by your grandchildren. They already looking at it low-key. Your strength, bro, we already know how fast that's going to go away. Like, what else? Like, your intelligence, I mean, we see what happens with old age, right? All of those are transitory, yo. They're all transitory. They all go like this. So you walked in this room with this bubble, and here I am, I'm saying that bubble is like worthless, yo. So that leaves you at a dark place right now. You're like, yo, like, bro, I'm not very strong. I'm not super intelligent. I'm super, you know, I have a lot of wealth though, and now you're telling me my wealth is nothing. What do I have? See, this is the beauty of our deen though. Our deen shifts your value system from an external, temporal, superficial value system to a deep value system that will be with you for your whole life and even into the hereafter. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he looks at the whole group and he says, "Akramu," what's the verse? "Akramukum indallahi atqakum." The best one in this room is the one with the most consciousness of God. And what's crazy about that, you can't even see it when you walk in. You can't even see it. I know some of us like to judge by external, but you can't really see taqwa, yo. You can't see hearts. You can't see hearts. There was a man that, Osama bin Zayd. It was a battle. There's a war. And it's war. So what I'm about to tell you, you have to understand in the battlefield, Osama bin Zayd gets over this non-Muslim. It's in war. It's in war. And he's about to kill him. It's in war. And the dude goes, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Like, tag, I'm safe. Literally, he's like, yo, La ilaha illallah. He knows the code word. Like, I know you can't kill me now. And Osama's like, bro, really? Boom, hits him. Kills him. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, everyone found out. So they're like, yo, bro, you weren't supposed to do that, bro. He's like, nah, he just said it for whatever. They brought it to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said over and over, he said, did you open up his heart to see if it was true? Did you open up his heart to see if it was true? He repeated it. Did you open up his heart? Osama was like, I wish I didn't become Muslim till that day. The point I'm trying to make is taqwa is not something you could see. So what the Prophet, peace and blessings, did to us as a ummah, he said, if you make your value system your beauty, I'm sorry, that's going to fade. And if you don't understand the transitory nature, you're going to be doing corrective surgeries until you're like 60. Like, for real, for real. And if your value system is wealth, you're going to realize too, what can I do with all this? I feel empty. Like I said, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. All of these different things, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, I need you to not make them your value system. I need you, and let me give an example. There was a Sahabi, his name slips my mind. He wasn't very attractive. Like the hadith says this about him. He didn't have, like, according to the Arabs, he didn't have attractive features. And the Prophet, like, he loved him. That was his guy. He used to come from outside of the city, and he would sell his goods, and then he would dip. So one day they were in the marketplace. In Medina, they always were buying and selling stuff. So the Prophet ﷺ, one day he walks up behind him without him seeing him. And he hugs him, bear hugs him. Like Rasulullah, he's so subhanallah, man. Like, different human being, man. Like, so down to earth with you. He's hugging him. And then he goes, "Man yashtari hadha al-abd minni." Who wants to buy this guy from me? Because he's in the marketplace. Let me just play on the joke. We're in the marketplace. It's my guy here. And then that guy turns around and he says, Ya Rasulullah, idhan tajiduni kasid. He says, Ya Rasulullah, man, they won't pay nothing for me. Because he's not an attractive man. He doesn't have a lot of money. He goes, they're not going to pay a lot for me. How many of us in this room feel like the world don't value me? The world don't value me. I don't fit into this beauty standard. I don't fit into this economic standard. I don't fit into this educational standard. I don't fit into this demographic. You know what I'm trying to say? All of these standards, none of them fit me. In that moment, he goes, they're not going to pay a lot for me. This society doesn't value me. What does the Prophet say? He turns him around and he looks him in the eye. And like a close friend or a father, or he says, La bal anta inda Allahi ghali. He goes, no, in the sight of Allah, you're priceless. How many of us need someone to turn us around and go, yo. In the sight of Allah, you're priceless, yo. In the sight of Allah, you're priceless. So what did he do? He shifted our value system from the mundane to the divine. You can't walk in a room and size everybody up because what you're sizing them up about doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. And you won't even have it that long. So shift the perspective. Now the other aspect of this is the other aspect of this is you have weaknesses, right? And you have strengths. What you have to realize is this deen and the Rasul, he would have pushed you to use your strength for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would have pushed you to not focus on what you don't have. Your focus on what you don't have is the thing that's hurting you. You need to focus on the strength that Allah did give you. There was a moment where Ibn Mas'ud was really skinny, okay? So the Prophet, there was something on a tree, like, I don't know, maybe dates or something. And the Prophet's like, yo, somebody go up there and get some dates. Alayhi salatu wassalam. Ibn Mas'ud's like, I got you, Ya Rasulullah. We wear these joints. So he pulled up his, pulled it up. And he started climbing, and everybody saw his legs, yo. Yeah, like the calf and the shin bone look the same. You know what I'm trying to say? And they immediately start roasting him. Because Sahaba were Sahaba. We always think they're just sitting there doing dhikr all day. I'll tell you a funny story, man. There was a moment, they were praying salah, and there was one Sahabi who was blind. And, I mean, y'all might not tell. I mean, we got to be politically correct. But I'm going to just say it. So they're praying salah, right? Prophet's leading salah. Everybody's in the rows. And the blind Sahabi's trying to get to the prayer, but he's not matching up with the lines, and he ends up in front of everybody. But as he's walking, there's a little like divot in the ground, and he trips and falls, right? Now, everybody knows my man, right? So everybody starts cracking up. You know what I mean? Like, keep it real. Come on, man. It's funny, low-key. Like, all right, politically correct, not funny. All right, take it out the video, whatever. All right. So they start, I just want you, they're human beings. You know what I mean? So they start laughing. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam finishes the prayer. He's like, all right, who was laughing? They all like, I was laughing. He's like, all right, go do wudu and come back, make your prayer again. You got to repeat the prayer. You know what I mean? Whatever. So they see him climb the tree, and they see his shins and his calf muscles, and they're like, bro been skipping leg day. You know what I mean? Like, they start roasting him. They start talking about him. Now, everyone's laughing, joking. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what would he do? In that moment, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he looked at everybody, and he goes, but those legs will be heavier than the mountain of Uhud on the scales of the Day of Judgment. Heavier. Why, though? Why? Because he was handsome? No. Because he was strong? No. Why? Because he was an ocean of knowledge when it came to tafsir. Your strengths are what Allah wants from you. Don't focus on... Insecurity shouldn't be there, because you should focus on what Allah did give you. The blessings that Allah did give you, you have to use those to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khalid bin Walid, what do you know about him? Militaristic, like, genius. He used that to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, as we talk about arrogance and we talk about the insecurities that make ourselves think we're better than other people, I ask you to reassess your value system and put it on a divine spectrum so that you're judging yourself and only yourself through a divine lens. No longer letting people put you down, because your value system and my value system are not the same one, brother. What you value, I don't value. I value tahajjud at night. I value my dhikr throughout the day. And that's where my value system comes from. Now, there's another aspect of this topic of arrogance. And it's just one more aspect I want to talk about when we talk about arrogance. A lot of us may feel like, oh, Shaykh is saying we got to be humble, we got to be humble, we got to be humble. So I can't stand up to the opportunities that come my way. The boss at the job is like, yo, we need somebody to take this position. You're like, I got to be humble. You know what I mean? I got to lay back. I got to be soft. And I wanted to restructure. Sometimes I tell someone's filling out like what's the thing where you go to college, you got to write all your strengths and stuff. You know what I mean? Like an essay. Nah, just application about you. You know what I'm saying? You got to like tell us great qualities about yourself. Personal statement. And you just came out of halakha and you're like, I'm nothing. You know what I mean? You know, there's no, I don't see myself as better than anyone in this world. And the application, they're like, nah, we ain't, this person, nah. So a lot of us struggle. You're like, yo, I'm taught in the religion to be humble, which I recorrected what it actually means. It just means to not, arrogance is to not look down on someone. That's arrogance. But the question I have is, you have these strengths that Allah has given you. You are strong. You are strong. You are, a jiu-jitsu black belt, mashallah. You are, whatever you have, wealthy. You are attractive. I don't know, whatever it is, man, you're a genius. So now humility means I hide my blessing. Humility means that I just like, no, like hide, blah. Here's what's deep. Listen closely to what I'm about to say. Humility is all about realizing that whatever you have is from God. That's it. Whatever you have is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember I spoke earlier about triangulation? As long as you're able to remember that everything I have is from God, it's only from Allah, whatever he gave you, to not use it is actually ingratitude to him. Yo, hear what I'm saying, bro? Gratitude. So I want us to shift. We're talking about be humble versus arrogance. You got to understand, when you have the blessings and you know that they're from Allah, we're no longer talking about being humble now. You know what we're talking about? How do you show gratitude for blessing you with the thing that he blessed you with? You know how you show it? By using it for him. Use that very blessing you have for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the meaning of true gratitude. Imam Ghazali, he says there's 3 levels of gratitude. One level is in the heart. I'm thankful in the heart. Allah, you gave me this. The second level is I'm thankful on the tongue. You're like, Ya Allah, thank you for this blessing. He goes, but those are superficial. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, wifey be like, don't tell me you love me, show me. All right, I'm trying to say, Muaz? No, you don't know. You better not know. Yeah, you better not know. Like, show me you love me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't tell me you're grateful for these blessings. Show me you're grateful for the blessing. How do you do that? Not by being humble. You are grateful by using them to their furthest ability to be used in the dunya possible for Allah's pleasure. Always remembering it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's really comical almost how shaitan makes us proud over what we never did anything to earn. Jalaluddin Rumi, y'all like, oh, he tripping now. Like Jalaluddin Rumi, he says this example. He says, imagine there's a king who brings all of the servants into the room. I'm going to give you a better example. Imagine somebody just signed his NFL contract. Just signed. Big contract. So he brings all of his boys. Yo, bro, we going shopping. Brings them all. 10 of them. Yo, we going shopping. They go shopping. He buys this dude a watch. Buys this guy a jacket. Buys this guy a nice purse for his wife. What's the nice ones? You know the nice ones? What's the nice? I don't even know. How you know that? So this guy signed the contract. He takes his boys shopping and he buys them the most amazing stuff. Now they're all walking around later and they start arguing. Yo, look what I got, bro. Look what I have. The dude's like, yo, look what I have. I have this. This is better than that. They're arguing about something they didn't earn. And if the dude who signed the contract walk in the room, he'd be like, ain't none of y'all got nothing. Everything you have, your looks, your strength, your intelligence, your money, all of that is from me. You have nothing. Now, some of us worked hard. Worked hard, man. You became a doctor. You worked hard, bro. You in IT, you worked hard. You a PA, you whatever. And you're like, but Shaykh, I put in work. I know, but who had the lights on for you? Who kept electricity going for you? Who gave, I was talking to somebody. They were like, how can you be racist? You didn't choose the family you in. You didn't choose to be whatever. You didn't choose that. In fact, if you had the choice, you probably would have chose something else. You had no say in that. How dare you have arrogance over that which you did? Rumi said this. I'll give you another Rumi one. He says, it's a bit esoteric. Some might be able to connect with it. He goes, imagine there's when the sun is coming through the window and there's all those little things floating around, right? Yeah. Thank you, someone. I love when someone immediately is like, yes, I get you. Like, when you was a kid, you'd be like, in like some deep thought about that. But anyways, right? So the sun is going through the window. You see those little like dust particles. Rumi says, imagine one of those dust particles started to brag about its brightness. That's you bragging over the blessing you have. That's you, bro. You're the dust particle just happened to be passing by the window where the sun's coming through. And you're like, yo, look at me. Look at me, man. It's comical. But I want you to look at your own life now. And realize, now here's what's so beautiful. Here's what's so beautiful. Iblis, let's go back to the original story. Iblis Shaitan, Iblis had reached a high rank, but his arrogance brought him down. Here's the hadith I want to share with you. Man tawada'a lillah, rafa'ahu Allah. Never forget this hadith. I'll say it in English, one more time in Arabic. Man tawada'a lillah, rafa'ahu Allah. Whoever humbles themselves, remember how I explained humility, not some Western understanding of humility, the prophetic understanding of humility. Whoever humbles themselves for Allah, notice it's not for the other person. It has nothing to do with that person. This is for Allah. What does Rasulullah say? Rafa'ahu Allah. Allah will keep elevating you. Allah will keep elevating you. Allah will keep elevating you. You know what's amazing? Some of us in this room are at a point of success, meaning Allah's blessed you with whatever. You're at a very critical moment. You know why? You're at a Iblis moment. You know why? If you show humility in this moment, Allah will keep you going up. You'll look back at the previous time and be like, man, I can't believe I was back there, yo. You have no idea where Allah wants to take you. Just let your humility keep rising you up. But the moment you get arrogant, what happened when Iblis got arrogant? He immediately fell. So the concept that is so deep in these verses is, as a person humbles themselves, and again, I want to reiterate, I know I sound like a broken record, humility based on the prophetic definition of humility, not some Western understanding of humility. The prophetic understanding of humility. Now we understand. Now we look at Rasulullah. Look at this. This is so beautiful. Who has left a bigger impact on the world since his passing other than Rasulullah? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Name one human being whose name is more often mentioned than Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Name one human being who has transformed so many people as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Think of who he was and the impact he's left on the universe, bro. Think of that. Now hold up. You know what he used to say to people? They used to say any little girl from Medina could grab his hand and take him wherever he wanted to go, and he would just go along. Okay, where are we going? He used to say to the elder women of Medina, call me to any alley of Medina, I'll meet you there and sit with you. I'm here for you any moment. You need me? I'm here for you. I'm always here for you. I'll never not be here for you. The humility, and here's the moment. In the moment of the conquest of Mecca, this is a moment of victory. This is a moment where you would expect him to hold his head up. Like, yeah, you remember what y'all did to us? This is the moment where it would be justified for him to go, see, I told you. In this moment, what do they say? He's coming into Mecca, and his head is down like this, bro. His head is down like this. They say his forehead, his beard was touching the saddle. And he's reciting, Inna fatahna laka fatham mubina. The verse where Allah says, indeed, we gave you this victory. Humility at its highest moment, coming in as a victorious general. But what got him to this impact that he had on billions of people, me and you today, 1,400 years later, in the middle of Fort Worth, dude accepting Islam. Like, how did he have so much impact? It's because of his humility. He never raised himself above anyone. Anyone. And what I found beautiful about him is, and I want to give you a practical tip. How do you develop humility and gratitude within your heart? You have to surround yourself with people that have way less than you. You cannot get accustomed to the upper echelon, yo. Because the more you spend time with them, the more the arrogance will grow. You'll start looking around at people. Now let me connect it. 3 halakas ago, we read the verses where the leaders of Mecca, they said, Ya Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They said, Ya Muhammad, we don't mind coming to listen to you, but we can't sit with those people. We need a separate masjid. We need a separate gathering. This verse is being brought to show them their parallel. Allah basically in this verse, like why is this verse placed right here? About 15 ayahs after that story when they were like, we'll come learn, but we need to be separated. Those are low people. See, low people, arrogance. Those are low people. We can't learn with them. We need our type of people. We can't be seen around these people. Why is this verse about shaitan coming 15 verses after that? It's to show the people of Mecca, you sound like shaitan right now. You sound like shaitan right now. Because your refusal to come learn is based on your arrogance and not wanting to be with people that you see lower than you. With low key, they're not lower than you, they're way higher than you. It's just your standard and metric of analysis is off. And so that's why these verses are being brought. It's to bring back these people and say, do you know who you sound like right now? You sound like Iblis. Ana khayrun min, I'm better. Imam Ghazali, he says that there's 3 levels of arrogance. One is in the heart. Hear me out on this and we'll go forward to the next part of the verse. One is in the heart. In the heart, you walk in the room and you feel it, but you fight it. You walk in the room, you feel it, but you fight it. Astaghfirullah. What am I doing? Astaghfirullah, man, he's probably better than me. He probably prayed to Hajj, da-da-da-da. I know some people struggle. I was talking to somebody who's years into their recovery from addiction. Very successful. Years into their recovery for addiction. And you know what they said? They said, I still go to the meetings, yo. Because I need to surround myself and remind myself of where I was. So I could be grateful for Allah to what He made me, to where He put me, and to remind me where I could be any moment. They didn't realize that the very act of sitting with these poor people was the thing that would have cured their hearts. They didn't realize that was the solution to them. That would have broke them down. That would have made them who they needed to become. The first level of arrogance is arrogance in the heart. The second level of arrogance is when it comes out in the actions, facial expressions. A lot of us, you make a facial expression. You know what I mean? You don't say anything, but you got the facial expression. And then the third level is when you actually state it. Ana khayrun min. Don't you know I'm better than you? I notice a lot of us never say that because it's almost culturally not accepted. So you know what I was realizing? We do it through the humble brag, yo. The humble brag, yo. Man, I can't believe I got up to this level. Man, it's like, man, I don't know how, bro. Bro, what you doing, bro? Be careful of the humble brag. No one's going to be on the phone with their cousin and be like, yo, I got so much more money than you, yo. You'll do it though with the humble joint. Like, yo, man, the accountant's looking really, alhamdulillah. We even do it with praise of Allah. Alhamdulillah, cuz, man, mashallah. Bro, what are you doing, man? Astaghfirullah, right? I hear you. So I wanted us to realize, because a lot of us are like, yeah, I don't do that. Yes, you do. You do it masked in humility. You do it masked in a complaint. You do it masked in so many ways where you say, ana khayrun min, but you can't say it that way, so you say it in another way. Check your heart. Check your heart. Watch your heart, because this is the sickness of shaitan. So I'm going to go forward, inshallah. There's another aspect of this insecurities too. I think when a person realizes that every blessing is from Allah, they don't feel threatened by people that have more than them. I'm going to speak specifically about the relationship of marriage. Wifey got a better job, she make more money than you. Are you insecure? Not if you know all that's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not about better. The Prophet ﷺ married Khadija radiallahu ta'ala an because he knew his value system wasn't based on an economic thing. He understood my value system is completely different. And together they came together and did the work of deen. When you put Allah in the equation, all of those insecurities go away. They go away completely. So let's look at the rest of this verse, inshallah. It's almost time for us to wrap up. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, can I go a little deeper on one thing real quick, y'all? I want to reiterate because I want to make sure you walk away with this point that you can act upon. The blessings are coming to you. You immediately start to see that you have more or whatever than others. And we said the solution to that is to remember Allah. Remembrance of Allah. Here's what's crazy. 15 ayahs ago, when those two brothers were having their little discussion, the brother who had less, he didn't say, yo, be humble. Yo, he said, yo, why don't you remember Allah? Because, hear me out, it is the remembrance of Allah that automatically humbles you. Dust particle in the sun. It's the remembrance of Allah that automatically humbles you. Doesn't make you soft, doesn't make you not courageous, just reminds you that the blessing is from Allah, not from anyone else. Now, why do I bring that up? Sulaiman, Solomon, Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam was given the most expansive kingdom. The Quran tells us him and Dawood, David, were blessed with these massive kingdoms, extreme wealth. How did that not get to their head? You know how? Kana awab. All they did was remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All they did was remember Allah. Not superficial subhanallah, subhanallah. Deep remembrance. This is from Allah. This is from Allah. This is from Allah. Because when you remember it's from Allah, there's something else that will kick inside your mind as well, which is if Allah gave it, He could do what? Exactly. If Allah gave it, He could take it. So now because you've processed He gave it, it doesn't mean it's from me. And because He could take it, I know it could go anytime. I'm not attached to it. That is the key to allowing Allah's blessings to come to you and for you to keep elevating with the blessings. Here's what's crazy. This story is a little politically incorrect too, but hear me out. Solomon, one day, Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, King Solomon, the Prophet Sulaiman, one day he's outside and he's looking at his army. It's in the Quran, Surah Sad. And he's looking at the horses. I mean, like, horses are beautiful, man. And they're all like for war. They're ready to go. They're like the purebred stallion, like ready to go for war. And the Quran says that he started to watch them so much that he missed his Asr prayer. So the Quran says that he got angry. He got angry. فَتَفِقَ مَسْحًا بِالسُّوقِ وَالْعَنَاقِ. The Quran says that he realized that this part of the dunya distracted him from Allah. Now for him, that's intolerable. Because Allah has given him so much, the only way he got to this level was with the remembrance of Allah. So he slipped up for a moment. He missed one Asr prayer, looking at his dunya. So what did he do? He ordered the general slaughter all of the horses. Now some of the scholars, they disagree. They're like, yo, he killed innocent animals, whatever. Don't focus on that just for a moment, because I want to get to a deeper point. Some say, no, he just like rubbed their backs. Like that's what he did. He didn't kill them. It's a whole different debate, whatever. But here's what's crazy. He then does tawbah, asks for repentance. He says, oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, forgive me. This is what's so crazy. He says, oh Allah, forgive me for being negligent of you. But listen what he does next. He says after that, oh Allah, give me a kingdom that nobody after me will have the likes of it. What I love about this is he made a mistake, did tawbah, and then asked Allah for more than he had before. Okay, what do? We make a mistake, we do tawbah, we ask Allah to bring us back to where we were. He realizes I'm so close to God that I made a mistake. I did repentance. He goes, Ya Allah, can you level me up now? And Allah gave him power over the wind. Allah gave him so much control. He could hear the birds. He could hear, like, subhanallah. The blessing came because of his connection with Allah. Arrogance, 2 minutes. Arrogance is not just to be soft, to not be self-confident, to not ask for the promotion, to not use your skills for the sake of God. Arrogance is to look down on people. It is ingratitude to have so many blessings and then think it to be humility to sit back and not use them. The meaning of gratitude is to use what God gave you. The meaning of arrogance, which will stop us from progressing, is to look down on people. Don't let your insecurities force you to walk in a room and make yourself better than people based on superficial things. Your value is based on your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And only you and Allah know the status of that. May Allah accept from us, inshallah. Okay, listen. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going out of town, inshallah. So for 2 weeks only 2 weeks, inshallah. You know what I mean? We won't have Wednesday night. Next Wednesday and the Wednesday after. But after that, Wednesday night is back on, inshallah. May Allah accept from us, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah accept from us and give us a deep connection with the Quran. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.